Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be going through the boss skills for a new Dream Realm bosses which will be added to the new season. His name is ORSON and this was found on the Pioneer server, and as you can tell it was shared by AFK Analytica. I'll leave a link to their Discord channel in the description of this video. Okay, so ORSON as well as Crystal Beetle have basically been confirmed to be added to the Dream Realm lineup, along with the other Dream Realm bosses we've had up until this point in the Song of Strife season. So Alpha Bear Lone Gaze will still be reappearing, as well as the original 4 Dream Realm bosses: Snow Stomper, Necrodraken, King Croaker, and Skyclops. But he is going to be like the never before seen boss, and I want to go through his skills and kind of theory craft maybe which heroes are going to do well here. And so that can be kind of interesting. So as you can tell, he's a warrior hero, physical damage, and with a range of 2. Grimoire clan's leader, a seasoned warrior, grows increasingly furious during battle until vanquishing all foes. So his ultimate ability, Piercing Impact, ORSON will throw several giant spears forward every 20 seconds after a battle starts, knocking back all enemies along a 3-tile wide path, knocking them back 1 tile. So this is kind of similar to the Crystal Beetle skill, if you remember. He would basically, in a 3-tile wide range, or whichever way he's attacking, he is going to knock back your team, and that is why people would always position Smokey on the far left, for example, so that he could still reach the boss with his blue aura to deal damage, but he was basically protected against this knockback. So I think a similar strategy might be used against this boss. Basically, you would want to prevent, especially if you're running Smokey, which most likely you will be, you'll want to prevent him from being knocked back, because that is going to interrupt his aura casting, and it will take him some time to recast it, and the downtime would not be good. And it will knock them back 1 tile, dealing 250% attack damage. If ORSON is in a rage state, his spear will knock down all enemies and deal 320% attack damage. So in terms of the damage output, I think probably that is not really the thing you're as worried about, but the fact that if he's in the rage state, he's going to knock down your entire team, that is going to reduce your score in the boss, because the longer your team is knocked down, we've even seen in battle drills bosses, and same for Crystal Beetle, the less damage output you will have. And so this is going to be something that you will want to try to prevent him from entering the rage state, and we're going to see further in his skills how maybe that would be possible. So his first skill here, Impale Strike, ORSON lifts the nearest enemy with the spear, so you're a melee tank hero, then throws them at the area with the most enemies. Upon collision, he deals 160% attack damage to the lifted enemy and nearby enemies within 1 tile, stunning the lifted target for 3 seconds. Next, if there are other enemies in adjacent tiles, ORSON deals 120% attack damage to them. Otherwise, he gains Fury Stack ×2. So, we're gonna want, actually you're going to want to have some enemies in the adjacent tiles here, because you do not want him getting Fury Stacks. When he stacks up his Fury, that is how he enters his rage state once he has 5 Fury Stacks, so you want to try to prevent that as much as possible. The damage that he deals, again, won't be too much of an issue, and if it's like your melee hero, like if it's a Freyaster in the front or Thorin in the front, that hero, Thorin or Freyaster, getting stunned won't really be too bad for your team. You will still have the continuous damage output from your core damage dealers. So it will only be stunning the lifted target. It doesn't say anything about stunning the enemies who are collided with, or the collision is onto. But the thing is here, you'll want to have, like, I guess, enemies kind of grouped up so that there will be some adjacent enemies which will take this damage instead of giving him the Fury Stack. So that will be a positioning thing. Grimoire Fury, ORSON swings his claws, dealing 120% attack damage to all enemies within the frontal radius of the arc. So an arc type skill, and again, it will probably, if you have heroes off to the left or off to the right, they will not be hit by this. But either way, this, I think the damage, you'll be able to sustain it if you have a Smokey in there for the healing. So the damage, and this skill is only about a little bit of damage output, so I don't think that is too game changing. And moving on to ORSON's final skill, Warrior's Pride. At level 4, I believe this is like his Mythic Plus type ability. At the start of the battle, ORSON enters a frenzied state, gaining all 5 stacks of Fury and an additional 50 haste. Each stack of Fury reduces the damage ORSON takes by 16%. So at the 5 stacks, that would be 80% damage reduction. Orson will exit the frenzied state if he loses all stacks of Fury, and he will re-enter once all Fury stacks are restored. Orson is not affected by any interrupt effects applied to him, but he will lose a stack of Fury for every 2 seconds an interrupt effect lasts. His Fury stacks will be restored in 10 seconds. So this is really what makes him very different from a lot of other Dream Realm bosses. If you will allow him to stack up his Fury freely, he is going to have massive damage reduction, and of course the haste buff, which will allow his 50% faster skill casting, 50% bonus attack speed. He'll be shredding through your team much quicker. And also every 10 seconds his Fury stacks are going to be restored. So, but there is a way of causing him to lose a Fury stack, which is if you interrupt him or have an interruption of skill lasting onto him for 2 seconds, it will reduce one of his Fury stacks. So now you need to think about, okay, out of all the key Dream Realm damage dealers there are right now, is there any hero that has major like long-term interruption? Because of course, for example, like Iron has a 6-second immobilization, which I think would count as an interruption. But of course, Iron is not a good option to be run into Dream Realm bosses, because otherwise, other than that, he doesn't really contribute much damage. However, there are certain Dream Realm damage dealers currently, and one major one which comes to mind, which has just recently been released, which is LENYA. So up until now, Lenya's damage output has been kind of similar to other damages like Corrin or Merrily in certain Dream Realm bosses, not exactly like on par with them. And of course, Lily May will outshine Lenya by a lot. However, Lenya has continuous stunning in her kit and a massive amount of it, which of course would not be applying to most Dream Realm bosses, and here it will not interrupt the boss, but it will cause him to lose a Fury stack, based on the wording here. So I think Lenya is actually going to be a best in slot hero for Orson because of just how much interruption she has in her kit. Like potentially on each critical hit she lands, when she's in her full potential state, she can get a 2-second stun follow-up attack, like her super kick. So Lenya seems like she's going to be the dream hero here. If you don't have her, like Scarlita, with Scarlita's ultimate, and she has a skill which will knock down enemies, so that was also a potential way of having interruption. Lily May, I don't know if Lily May's ultimate cast will count as an interruption effect, because it technically won't be stunning him, but potentially that could also count and reduce his Fury stack, but that would be only each time he casts his ultimate, which won't be that frequent. And the other heroes, I don't exactly know, like Rainier. Oh, Rainier Dynamic Balance has, but it says if the hero is unaffected, then have some different effect, but he has the knock-up, so that would probably also be counted as an interruption effect, so Rainier probably will be a great option here. Smokey with his Mythic Plus has stuns every 1 second. If you have him at plus 10 exclusive equipment upgrades, so maybe plus 10 exclusive equipment Smokey is going to be a way to apply an interruption effect. So these are all things to keep in mind. Basically, this boss has very different mechanics from other bosses. It's similar to Crystal Beetle in that both of them have like that 3-tile wide knockup, but this boss specifically has like another, like these Fury stacks, which are going to really heavily reduce your damage output and also give him massive kill threat onto your team. And so you're going to need heroes which have continuous interruption onto him. So, and if you don't have Lenya, I think it's going to be pretty tough to compete, because Lenya already deals pretty decent damage output, and she has the most interruption, hands down, like continuous interruption of any hero. So anyway guys, you can let me know what you thought about these skills of Orson in the description down below, and if you have any ideas for different team comps, you can definitely share them, and not description, I mean comment section. But overall, looks pretty cool, and I guess the good news kind of is that most Dream World bosses are going to stay pretty much the same. It's just going to be Crystal Beetle and Orson added. And as for Crystal Beetle, the optimal team was involving Corrin as a damage dealer. I wonder if maybe Lenya might be able to be used in the Crystal Beetle, because I think the more melee damage dealers did better than the range damage dealers in Crystal Beetle, so potentially Lenya could be again an option to try. But I definitely think Corrin will always be a pretty good there. Also, people were running Freyasto if they had him, otherwise Scarlita can be run. So definitely Smokey and Coco for the protection. And I think it was pretty much a team revolving around those heroes. Rainier wasn't actually used in the Crystal Beal, but it could be used if you didn't have like all of the Celestial Hypogean heroes built up. But for this boss, I think Rainier will be pretty important because Rainier provides some interruption effects. And already, Rainier is a pretty good option for Dream Realm bosses. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. And once again, thank you to AFK Analytica for sharing all of this information. And you guys can check out their Discord server in the description of this video. But I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video, and I'm going to be planning to upload more videos today on Pioneer server content, because I did have access to the Pioneer server, but when they first shared it with us, they said that you would never be able to share any of this content, and then they posted an update a couple of days ago that you could share it, but I missed out on that like update. So then yeah, so like I've been a bit delayed, otherwise I would have shown you stuff earlier. But anyway, we'll try to show some of that today. And when I think when the release, because the Vietnamese server is going to go live on the new season, I think tomorrow, and at that point in time, I think the rate up recruitment hero will be Nara. And so I think at that point, then we'll do testing, PvP testing on the Pioneer server with Nara, because that can be fun and give you guys an idea of whether you want to recruit for her or not. I'm not sure if Nara will come first or Sinbad, but I'm expecting Nara. I think in this Song of Strife season, Elsa came before Soren in the raid up recruitment, if I remember correctly. I can't remember. Maybe it was Soren who came first. But anyway, guys, I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now, and thank you for watching.